Welcome to Taiwan Talks. I'm your host, Alex Lee. Today it's my pleasure having World Gym Chairman John Caraccio to the show. World Gym is not only the largest fitness operator in Asia, but it also hit a lot of great track record. For sure, I believe, John, is a great year for you for the 2024. You bring the company to public here in Taiwan at the beginning of this year, and you never rest. You go ahead, reverse takeover the parent company, World Gym International, sometime like last month, right? It's a great job. Congratulations to you. Yeah. Again, you definitely got a lot of story to share with our audience, the journey. But I would love to start from this specific kind of acquisition. Can you share with us why World Gym International, your parent company, and why now?
Certainly. All right, well, thank you, Alex. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm glad to be here. With World Gym, we've been in Taiwan 24 years, going from one location to 130 locations. In terms of the whole World Gym system, we've been the best, the strongest operator. You know, the best practices, best growth, most number of stores, etc. So and at the same time, we've always been looking to expand overseas, and that's been part of our story, is that we want to take our successful experience here in Taiwan, our best practices, and copy and paste basically into other markets, potentially China, Southeast Asia. We've been looking over the past 15 years, looking at various opportunities, and so this basically gave us the opportunity as a listed company to go back to World Gym USA and talk about buying the rights, or actually just buying the whole company, acquiring the whole company, so we get the brand, the franchise systems, and the operating rights to the whole world. And that basically, it's a necessary first step, basically, for leaving Taiwan and doing more elsewhere.
Sure. Again, people like me gotta probably recognize World Gym because it's a long history name and a recognition to a lot of people like me. But for some of the younger kind of audience, can you just share with us a little bit kind of story, about the brand,
Sure.
about the history, about the World Gym?
Yeah, well, World Gym started in 1976 in Venice Beach, California. Now, Venice Beach has a part of the beach called Muscle Beach, where over the years, this is going back from the 1920s and 30s, so almost 100 years now, there used to be bodybuilding shows, like strongman shows. They didn't call it bodybuilding at that time. Strongman shows and acrobats and all kinds of activities at that beach. Later in the 60s and 70s, it became a bodybuilding center. They call it the Mecca of bodybuilding. So people from all over the world, of course, one of the most famous, Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he finally left Austria and came to America, that's where he went. He went to the so-called Mecca of bodybuilding. And you had Joe Gold there, Joe Weider, who had the magazines, and all the famous bodybuilders of the time would work out at Muscle Beach, and then later at World Gym after they opened in 1976. So it's got quite a story. Yeah, it's got quite a story. And people around the U.S. and around the world know about World Gym. It's well known because it's been around for 48 years now. So you have that cachet, you have that classic, that classic value of having a classic brand. And so we've always loved the brand. It's also very universal, World Gym, right? It doesn't,
Sure.
It could be America, it could be anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it has that kind of, a name that could go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so, we've always liked the brand. That's why we brought the brand to Taiwan. And we've been talking with World Gym USA for years, for about 8 years.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until after we went public that the owners felt they could, trust us, and they could see, the transparency of our company, all our financials, our history, the fact that we're the largest operator, that we're an actual operator, etc. So the owners finally, after 8 years, our executive director, Michael San Ciprian, he and myself finally were able to convince them, hey, now is the time to turn it over to the next generation of operators.
This is actually my next question, because other than the brand, the legendary story behind the brand. What number one is that what was your pitch to inspire the founder, right? The brand builder to transfer, of course, with a good price to you, and how would you love to just at a roughly basis to embed it as a very classic kind of a culture and into your, however, the Taiwan success story is a very modern, very down to the earth kind of operation.
Well, yeah, the main thing that convinced them was that the fact that we're operators. So they wanted to, they were looking at, I think they were ready to sell. They had gone through COVID. Things hadn't been so easy. These owners have owned the brand for about 15 years. But they didn't have the right party to sell it to. They could have sold it to a financial buyer, or just another family, or what have you. But because we're operators and we understand the hardship, the difficulty, the challenges of operating the gym business, I think that's what brought them across the finish line, basically.
Great. You definitely did a great pitch because you are the one actually to make Taiwan as one of their global franchise, probably the best kind of operation. Well, let's talk about yourself. I was told that you are not in the fitness business at the beginning, right? Right. As a matter of fact, you were a financial analyst with a similar background like me at the beginning here in Taiwan. Just tell us your story. Why that changed your career from a banking, financial industry to fitness, and how you started your whole initiative.
Certainly. Well, yeah, I mean, basically I started off as a nerd, right? Just a guy studying Chinese in university. I went to University of California, Santa Barbara. And then I'd lived in China for 2 years. I had backpacked around China. But it just so happened, this was in the 80s, and at the end of the 80s, something happened in China. I don't know if we can talk about that. But in 1989, some events happened in China, and it just made finding a job. When I finally graduated, there were really no jobs in China. And I came to Taiwan. And Taiwan in the early 90s was a pretty fun place to be. And I don't know where you were in the early 90s. Were you at?
For sure, not China. I'm in Taiwan.
Yeah, you're in Taiwan also.
Taiwan.
So, yeah, it was all, they called it the casino economy. Remember the stock market?
Yeah, I remember the name.
Would go up limit every day for 3 months, and then go down limit every day for 3 months. It was, and then people starting businesses, and it was what they called market Darwinism, right? Economic Darwinism. People starting businesses and changing. It's just, there's so much you can do. Basically, you can do a place where you can start your dreams, basically, in Taiwan. And basically, I got involved in the securities business, worked at Capital Securities, became an analyst, and I was able to see, the more macroeconomic picture, and in terms of companies from a microeconomic viewpoint. But you're flying at 30,000 feet. You're never really understanding a company's day-to-day operations and strategic thinking and philosophy and what have you. So eventually I finally had the chance to join a consulting company that was bringing US companies to Asia. And that's what we did. We brought a fitness chain, and that became California Fitness in Hong Kong. We brought them to Hong Kong, opened the first one in Lam Kwai Fong. And that was an actual operator out of California. So I left the securities world to join this consulting company. And so California Fitness was an operator out of California, and we set them up in Hong Kong with a joint venture. And I was kind of doing the behind the scenes financial analysis, doing projections and what have you. And I could see the business. I could see the fitness business. It was my first chance to really come down from the 30,000 feet as an analyst to be on the ground and actually working out projections, and then with a real business in Lam Kwai Fong in Hong Kong, and this is 1996, seeing how that panned out from our projections to the reality, they actually sold 3 years later. So I saw the whole cycle with the fitness business, and I came to really like the business.
Sure. Well, that's still, as a consultant, right? That's still like probably not 30,000 kind of a high, but
Right.
still 10, right? But what make you like become a real operator from like a third-party consultant?
Well, yeah, so we consulted for California Fitness, and actually we had a part of the equity, and they opened 4 locations in Hong Kong, in Lam Kwai Fong, Causeway Bay, Wan Chai, and TST. So 4 locations, and they sold it for $41 million in 30 months. Wow. So it was crazy successful. And then as a subscription business, it's the subscription model. So you can see how if you do well, you can do really, really well because it's the fixed costs.
Sure.
So the more you go over your fixed costs, it's all profit basically. And that's what we did in Hong Kong, being the first to market in a big city like that, very modern city. There was just so much pent-up demand for fitness in the mid-90s. So that's what inspired me. Hey, this could be done in Taiwan. I had lived in Taiwan. This is during the casino economy days. I saw people can start businesses in Taiwan, and so hey, why not? And so I got the rights to World Gym, and was able to find a location in Taichung, central Taiwan, and start in 2001.
Yeah, that was way back 2001.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, that you started your first kind of outlet not in the very busy hustling like a Taipei where the most of people are supposed to set up. Why you set up in a city like a Taichung?
Well, I knew an operator, a mall operator. So one thing I had, there was a location I had my eye on in a mall that they were building. And secondly, I wanted to be out of Taipei. Rents at that time were really high, even higher than today. I mean, it's amazing. But in the commercial areas of Taipei, if you look at Zhongshan Section 4, Zhongshan East Road Section 4, those rents 24 years ago were higher than they are today.
Wow.
Yeah, there were 10,000 per ping.
I almost forgot, seriously.
So, yeah. So it was, Taipei was a bit pricey.
Yeah.
And so Taichung, I could be first to market in Taichung. I could have a lower rent. And in the future, if I wanted to go all island, I could, I'm in the middle. So it's easy to travel south, travel north. And it worked out right. Our first location, was a big splash in this mall. We did, opened with thousands of members and was very successful.
Sure. So from a day one, from the point that you picking up the location, which is central Taiwan, did not have the plan, say, look, you know what, I want to franchise out, I want to build up at the island-wide. Did you have that kind of a plan in the first place, or?
I wouldn't say a detailed plan, but my plan was to grow.
Okay.
Yeah, was to grow, and that's been one of our driving philosophies. Is we call it never give up. Our team has really just taken that to heart. So we started in 2001, then we added our second location in 2004, our third location 2005, our next 2 in 2005. So we're up to 4 locations, and then bam, we were hit with the credit crisis in Taiwan. Sure. If you remember the George and Mary card, yeah, exactly. And it blew up, and you had operators going out of business. Alexander, Youth Camp, a chain with 20 locations. Alexander had 24 locations. They went, one after another. These locations were going under. We were hurting also. Yeah. So with my 4 locations, I was, we were hurting as well, but we were able to survive.
Yeah. I guess that for the most of the people here in Taiwan, they got a really 2 different kind of picture when people talk about the gym business, right? And the majority of the memory is more about what I just mentioned, because the credit card crisis. As a matter of fact, most the gym clubs, so-called, in the last 20 years, always end up with a failure, right? But how you make your gym model so successful, share with your your changes and in terms of like adopting whatever the secret recipe you have, make you so successful from those one fail surviving?
Well, yeah, basically you could break it into two parts. The model itself, the financial model, because I came out of finance, and it was that subscription model that I liked, right? And that requires monthly dues. So you're charging people by the month.
Sure.
So you have to have the right model, and all the early disasters in fitness were all because they were selling prepaid memberships. You pay 5 years up front, 4 years up front, or lifetime memberships paid up front, and all that. So that was a disaster waiting to happen, basically. And so with the monthly model, even though I hit hard times, you can still work your way through it because you still have monthly income coming in. Maybe it drops, but you still at least have monthly income. Whereas the prepaid, if you hit a recession, and they've already, everyone's paid up front, there is no recurring revenue, and the operators can't survive. So that's the model we had the right model to work with, and then B, the team. So with me, I didn't have fitness experience, right? I came out of the finance side, and before that from being a nerd, right? So I had no fitness, practically speaking or business speaking. But I was able to bring people from the U.S. who had experience. So I would bring managers out, and then later I was able to bring a high-level manager, Michael Sancyprian, brought him. He came out to visit. We talked for a couple of years, and then he decided to come out and join and invest and become a partner. And so we had a solid team from the U.S. where monthly dues is standard, right? That's the only way to go. Sure. So we brought a firm faith in the monthly dues model, and then Michael brought a lot of the marketing, sales, and then other managers, and we were able to build a solid team. And it's that the systems with the team. That's what. That's basically the key that got us going in those early years.
Yeah, you mentioned your business model, and we've been talking about all of this, but I still can't help but think about why you want to change that model. Because think about if you can collect like a lifetime fee, right? That's great. But why you want to change to like a monthly due, which you have to try very hard, right? You have to keep it up, no matter the service and the facility, and also. Would you call this a very specific World Gym Taiwan model when you compare that to not only for the rest of the gym operator here in Taiwan, obviously they fail. What about how would you compare that to the other gym model outside of Taiwan, say with the one in the US or with the one in Hong Kong, for example? What are the differences?
Yeah, I think in the early years, you could say we used a U.S. model. But as Michael and I, through the years, we were able to tweak the model. And what we did was we grew the personal training side of it. So personal training, when we first started, was maybe 10% of revenue. Today, it's 50% of revenue. And this makes us different than pretty much any chain in the whole world. If you look at Planet Fitness, the largest in the world, they do zero personal training. That's not part of the model. They're a low-cost, $15 a month, high volume operator. If you look at the other operators that do have personal training, it's maybe 10 to 20% of the revenue. No one's doing 50% of the revenue in personal training. So we took a U.S. model, but then we refined it based on the needs and of the local market, and just based on continuing to build and to treat ourselves as the biggest competitor. Treat ourselves as our biggest enemy, really, and look at ways to improve and improve and improve. And it's all the systems, just getting the systems tighter and tighter and better and better and stronger and stronger. So today when we open a fitness center, it's mind-boggling the degree to how we've systematized everything and how we can launch and do these huge numbers, open with 2,500, 3,000 members. And we can do it over and over. We can do it simultaneously. This December, we're launching 6 pre-sales in 1 month. It'll be a new record. But we just got through opening 3 clubs in October, we're opening another 2 in November, launching pre-sales at the same time. So it's just now it's just a system and a machine, and the team knows exactly what to do. And and the management structures are all built up over over the last 20 years. We've built up the structures in place where we can just execute it over and over and over.
I'm also aware of that you put all of your trainer at a full-time basis and at your payroll, versus a lot of like a gym, their kind of working relationship is more loose, right? What is the beauty of that? Because they're gonna make you carry more like a fixed cost, right? What's the beauty of doing that, and why you want to do that?
Yeah, exactly. Well, personal training is such a big part of our business. 50% of our revenue is personal training. And again, we started at 10% and we grew it to make it 50%. The way we did that was by looking at the long-term career development for the trainers. So we're putting all the time up front training them. So we have training centers in Banqiao, in Taichung, in Kaohsiung. So all the trainers, all the new trainers, and we hire 120 to 150 new trainers every month. So it's a machine, from recruitment, interviewing, and then training at the training centers, and then going back to the clubs to do the practice, a 3-month process for a trainer to be fully certified and ready to work. And we do that because you put all that investment into them, and they're such a key part. Members who have training, who have personal trainers, will stay longer than a member without a personal trainer, right? They're more loyal, they're more dedicated, they love their trainer, they love the club, they love the whole social aspect. And the club, because of the trainers, the club becomes your third place, right? You have your home, your work, and now your fitness center. I think Starbucks was calling their coffee shop the third place, right? The third home. But the fitness center has truly become that, and especially with the trainers there. It's a whole, when you go to a World Gym, we have 25 to 30 trainers. No other club has that, and the level of expertise and the different specialties of each trainer and the personalities, and it just brings a human touch to the business and keeps our members for the long term. And
what do you want to elaborate? Almost this has become like a culture thing here in Taiwan, like Starbucks, like 7-Eleven, all this is a foreign idea. Get translated or transformed a very different kind of a business model here in Taiwan, with a lot of a new innovation or business model. Just like what you rightly said about Starbucks, people treat Starbucks or 7-Eleven as a part of their lifestyle, right? Sounds like that's the goal, the purpose. You're gonna transform World Gym as a part of people's life. Is that sounds like that's your plan?
Well, absolutely, because the great thing about being in the fitness business is such a positive. It's health, and if when you work out, it's good for you. You feel better, you feel stronger, and then now the science that's coming behind it in terms of longevity, in terms of maintaining health into your older age, combined with the fact that Taiwan's an aging society, this is really, it's kind of it's a great time to be in the fitness business because of all the innovations and new products and services that we're offering is more and more geared towards health and longevity, versus in the old days it might have been to lose weight or to gain muscle. Now we're looking at health and longevity and so-called wellness, and including mental wellness and physical wellness.
Along the line, can you share with what sort of a new add value services along this well-being kind of a concept? Anything additional you would love to offer to your members and to overall society here?
Well, absolutely. So, with the digitalization of everything, basically, fitness centers, now we have to have that whole digital component. And so of course, we have our member app, which is their membership card, basically. So everyone uses the app. So we have 650,000 people who have downloaded the app and who use it to get into the club. And then on their app, they have their dashboard. So all their numbers, how many times they're working out per week, per month, per year. They can set goals, and then and then their physical numbers in terms of their body composition analysis, what's their weight, their body fat, their visceral body fat, their muscle mass, et cetera. And so they have all that. They can track, they can set goals, and basically that enables just better results, more connectivity, more commitment to fitness, and then being able to view your results. And secondly, you can add on to that. You can gamify it. You can add prizes and rewards. And so we have something called MyZone, which is a heart rate device.
Sure.
And it's mainly for cardio exercise. So on the cardio side, we have MyZone. When you're wearing your MyZone, you're getting points. When you collect 1,300 points a month, you get badges. After 3 months, we give T-shirts, hats, bags. So you just bring people in through the technology, and then through gamification, getting people just to work out, to work out, more people working out more times and getting more results. The three mores, we call it.
Sure. I think last time we talked about you're gonna offer something like a supplement, nutrition kind of services in selected kind of a outlet.
Yes, we do have that. Actually, we did launch retail. So World Gym now with 130 locations, we're looking at at things to add on, and nutrition is one of them. So we have juice bars now in I think 11 locations. Where you have pre-workout drinks and then post-workout protein drinks. And then we sell supplements and we sell other accessories and World Gym clothing, et cetera. So it's just more convenience for members because instead of having to go home and mix a protein drink, you can grab it on the way out and drink it. And then your recovery is faster and then your muscle growth is faster and you get results faster.
Yeah. I bet that this is something I will recommend all of my foreign friends. They definitely need to check out the World Gym model here because this is go beyond the people's traditional kind of gym model here in Taiwan. Like it can be different type of another 7-Eleven type of Taiwan's model. Along the line, as the hub of well-being and the sustainability kind of a life. Can you share with us how did you select your site? Obviously, as a part of a retail business, site selection is very crucial, right? We heard all kind of complaint about the retail operator, not only about the rent, but also all kind of restriction, right? So what made you so successful? Like as you just mentioned, you want to open another 6 kind of a new store.
We've already launched in December. Yeah.
Share with your secret. How you select the site and how you arrived at a reasonable kind of a contract with a landlord.
Yeah, real estate's a key part of the business. Obviously, getting the right location, the right rent, the right feel, the right entrance, convenient entrance, parking, etc. We have, it's just basically boots on the ground and searching. We do have parameters we have, so 60,000, population of 60,000, it needs to have a Starbucks, Baoya, right, a McDonald's, it needs to have 2 or 3 PX Marts, Trenlian. Yes. And so when it has that, then we go and research that area and start looking for locations. Basically, Taiwan, the good news is that Taiwan is very underdeveloped, underserviced. Penetration is only about 4.5%. In the US, it's 23%. So there's a huge gap and a lot of growth space, a lot of what they call white space in Taiwan to grow. So, our pipeline, we currently have 130, we look to grow to 250 locations just in Taiwan. And there's definitely plenty of locations to grow in all over the place.
Sure. And now I know in terms of a market share, you're way above the 50% of the market share in Taiwan, and you want to continue growing, right? I bet that the next kind of growth driver outside of Taiwan gonna be somewhere outside of Taiwan, kind of in the region. Do do you have any particular kind of idea that which particular country or area will be your next target to go after?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're now global. So we have franchisees in Brazil, Mexico. We're negotiating a second one in Mexico, a second master franchisee in Mexico, because Mexico's got 120 million people. Across the U.S., we have franchisees in Canada, Australia, Germany. So we are basically negotiating with our franchisees and adding new master franchisees, basically planting seeds so we can get the brand growth going. So currently the brand is growing total about 30 to 50 locations a year. So we want to get that and get that growing to 100 locations a year, 150 locations a year, just by having different groups with the right either area development or master franchises that they can expand in. So that's one, global growth. And then our own corporate stores, currently they're all in Taiwan, 130, but we do look to open corporate locations in other countries. And primarily we're focused on Southeast Asia and East Asia, Korea, Japan, the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, et cetera.
So for the each specific kind of a location under the World Gym International, right? I bet they adopting some sort of flexibility in terms of like operating the business model vary from a different location. Is that true? Or are you going to like share your successful experience here in Taiwan, running PT and the monthly dues? So what's the next plan? Would you love to blend your such a successful business model here together with a very classic, legendary kind of a World Gym brand itself?
So besides planting the seeds of new franchisees, we do look to infuse the franchise systems of World Gym with our own best practices. So we have obviously our pre-sale system. So and that's what everyone's excited about. The ones that are adding clubs, so we know which franchisees are adding clubs in 2025. So we're getting them trained on our pre-sale systems. We're getting several to fly out to Taiwan to experience it, because we're launching pre-sales every month. And so they can experience it, for a few weeks and then get trained and then go back. And then we do have a core of people in the US that are part of World Gym International, and they will assist in terms of being on the site, helping the new franchisees or franchisees opening second and third locations. So you're right, we're taking our best practices, infusing them into the system, and hopefully that'll get growth, that'll help them grow faster.
Some of the kind of investor, they are of course amazed that this is a particular business model on the World Gym Taiwan, but when they realize this is some sort of a reverse takeover, right? I bet they also may constantly ask this question: will the future for the global expansion, would that require additional kind of investment from the company? Or if that's not, what's your plan to grow affordably and without sacrificing your current shareholder right?
Right. Well, yeah, that's another of the benefits of the franchising portion, because we're not using a lot of CapEx. Sure. So it's capital light. We're using our IT systems. We're using our personal training systems. That's, again, it's know-how, it's intellectual property. Our training systems for personal training, our systems for pre-sales. So we're taking all the know-how, all the intellectual property, using that to grow the franchise model overseas, and then combining that with our own corporate store growth, which is more capital intensive, but also has a higher rate of return. So the two together, we think is a good way, is a good combination.
Let's talk about your personal part, right? I know you have 3 kids.
I have 2 kids.
2 kids, sorry. They all grew up here in Taiwan.
Yes.
You have done such a successful job, right? Again, I believe you do want to build up something for your next generation, i.e. in terms of like some legacy from no matter from a leadership, your philosophy, if there's anything, what would you love to do through the World Gym kind of operation?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's family, and then there's the team, the World Gym team itself. We're looking to grow globally. Part of it is just more opportunities for the team. So we have team members who speak English or who would love to go to a new country and help launch in a new country. And so it's just more opportunity for growth. We started with one location. We have 130. All of our VPs, district managers, regional managers, they all started at the base level. They all started as a personal trainer or as a customer service at the front desk or a salesperson and worked their way up. So we have this team of people. A lot of them have been with me for 20 years. And hundreds and hundreds have been with me for 10 to 15 years or more. And they're hungry to keep growing. And so I think in terms of a legacy, I think what we want to do is just continue to grow and have more exciting, interesting areas of growth for the team to experience. Of course, my family, they're still young, they're still in school, so they'll get through school first and then decide what to do with their career, but they can do whatever they want.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, if you have a crystal ball in front of you, right? What's the picture in that crystal ball? Let's say 15 years from now, right? What would you expect to see a new World Gym like, and you like in that particular kind of a long-term picture?
Right. Well, I would like to see World Gym at 500 locations that are company-owned and 2,000 locations that are franchised. I mean, to be a true global company. I think we have the team, we have the depth. We've got the foundation to actually achieve that in terms of just the depth of management that we have, and the drive. And our workers. I mean, we basically self-funded our entire growth just through sweat and grit, basically.
I know that for sure.
And so-called never give up attitude.
Yeah.
So we want to see this grow and just become bigger, and we want to duplicate what we did in Taiwan and in other markets in Southeast Asia and East Asia. We want to see the brand become return to its former glory in the 1970s when it was the brand in terms of early fitness brands. That would be like in 15 years. I think we certainly have the foundation to achieve that. It's not a pipe dream. It's something. If 20 years ago you asked me, what did I want to do for Taiwan? I think at the time someone did ask me. I said 13 locations. And they thought I was crazy. They thought I was crazy. 13 locations. How could Taiwan ever have that? And we ended up doing 10 times that so far.
Yeah. Again, you self made an excellent role model for a lot of the young entrepreneur. One thing you just particularly mentioned for a couple of times: never give up, and all the way. I have to remind a lot of audience, you've been always self-funded, generate like a cash and reinvest, so on and so forth, right? That's awesome. You have anything you want to share with a young entrepreneur, either for the Taiwanese entrepreneur or entrepreneur elsewhere, what will your wisdom, word of wisdom to them?
Right. Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of things, at least for myself, that worked. I'm not sure if it'll work for everybody, but being conservative in terms of financing, not getting into debt. I think that's a key, because debt. Once you get into debt, it's easy to get into debt, very difficult to get out of debt. So, I would say that's one thing. And knowing the engine of your business model. What's going to be, how will it be monetized? What's going to produce the financial benefits? Because at the end of the day, you're looking for financial freedom, right? Besides chasing your dreams, you want to achieve financial freedom eventually, and you want your team members and your family and the people you impact to have financial freedom in their life. That's that's a big goal. And if you don't know the engine, you still have to really understand how will it create financial freedom. Don't take your eye off of that part of it. I think that's a key aspect.
That's great because with that sounds very simplistic kind of business model and the discipline, bring you back to financial world again. Capital market.
Right, the capital markets, exactly.
Well, this is probably the best place to end the conversation.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
All right. Thanks,
Definitely
Alex.
check out your World Gym at your neighborhood, not just only in Taiwan. We are coming to the world.
That's right. We'll be around the world. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, John. Yeah.